Pope Francis the other day shocked a lot of people by saying that atheists might be able to get into heaven. In fact, he said, even the atheists, that's a quote from him, have been redeemed, he said, again, quote, with the blood of Christ. So Christ has redeemed even the atheists, and he talked about how we will meet you basically in heaven. And everybody got excited. Oh my God, the only people who didn't get excited are atheists who don't believe in heaven anyway. So they're like, I got bad news for you, Pope Francis. I'm not going to meet you there because it doesn't exist. But nonetheless, it was a great way of reaching out, and it was more welcoming and more open-minded. So I was in favor of it. I was among the people who were excited. Now, of course, the Vatican's saying, roll that back. Backpedal, 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 backpedal. So spokesperson for the Vatican, Reverend Thomas Rosica, comes out and writes, all salvation comes from Christ, the head, through the church, which is his body. Hence, they cannot be saved who, knowing the church is founded by Christ and necessary for salvation, would refuse to enter her or remain in her. Am I the only one who thinks that sounds dirty? Okay. You have to enter the body, and you have to remain in her for quite some time. And then you have to come back out and then go back into her, and then make sure that you're perfectly loyal. All right, anyway, the Vatican, they can't get that stuff out of their head. Stop talking about people's bodies. So, but the bottom line in this is they're saying, no. What the Pope said, well, you see, what had happened was, he didn't quite mean that. He meant, you atheists, trust me, you're still going to hell. Now, the atheist reaction to this again is, didn't care the first time, don't care this time. Hell also doesn't exist. So enjoy your fantasy land, but not altogether that interested. But it is weird that the Vatican is correcting the Pope. Well, I was led to believe that that gentleman was infallible. Now, Huffington Post explains in the story, the Vatican statement seemed to attempt to do damage control for Francis' remarks, emphasizing that his job is more to speak well than to provide an indisputable interpretation of the Bible. Oh, damn. Did they just turn him into a spokesperson? Did they just turn him into a communications director? They seem to have demoted him pretty significantly. My understanding was this man speaks to God. I know all the Catholics are going to give me all this details. Like, no, you don't understand. We say, like, in order for him to be infallible, it has to be a Wednesday between 4:30 and 5:30 in the afternoon. And if you're having tea, that's when he's talking to God, and that's when it counts. He's not generally infallible. Oh, get out of here, man. He's the frickin' Pope. He's supposed to be the guy who's talking to God. And now Vatican comes and says, he speaks well, blah, 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 blah. That's why we hired him. But he doesn't have an interpretation. Well, if he doesn't have the interpretation of the Bible, then why the hell are we listening to him? Why are we running so many parts of our world based on what the Pope said? Pope said don't use a condom. Pope said don't have an abortion. Pope said atheists are going to heaven. Never mind, the Pope doesn't count. Who gives a damn about the Pope? That makes no sense. Now let me read from the statement directly. Pope Francis is first and foremost a seasoned pastor and preacher who has much experience in reaching people. He's a people person, apparently. His words are not spoken in the context of a theological faculty or academy, nor in interreligious dialogue or debate. Those are all your exemptions and exceptions. He would be infallible if he was in a theological faculty, but once he steps out of the faculty and he's no longer involved in the interreligious dialogue or debate, he loses his magic powers. Come on, who believes this? As you're hearing this whole story, you're beginning to wonder, maybe the atheists have a point. Maybe these guys don't really have it figured out as to who's going to heaven or hell, or whether those two things exist at all. Because remember, the people who told us about heaven and hell before were other popes who interpreted that same Bible, and we were told they had the definitive interpretation. Come to find out, no one's really quite sure whether we're going to heaven or hell.